I think university is a time where you find yourself. This is a time where I've truly learnt my potential and what I'm capable of.
We had 24 students from the University of Newcastle come along to Borneo. We spent 3 days in the Borneo jungle and we looked at orangutans in their habitat. It was amazing.
The skills that I've gained over those years and even watched and reflected on how much I've learnt, it amazes me.
I'm the first one in my family to graduate. My dad always said to me, he said, only brain can make a man. That means only knowledge can make a man. And I always had, the voice of my dad in the back of my head, saying that I could do it. Graduation was a major achievement in my life.
I started the university as an able-bodied kid, and then I had an accident after my second year. So that dream as a young kid from a disadvantaged background of throwing that cap and gown into it almost puts a tear in my eye of having that sense of achievement.
I was doing some volunteer work. One of the volunteer boss said to me that if you really like helping people, why don't you become a nurse? I want graduates to be bold, be courageous, and be your best.
I think it is very important to focus on your purpose because there will be a lot of issues, a lot of challenges facing ahead, and being able to overcome each time, I think it's what's important.
It's a wonderful feeling to be an alumni. You have this connection with other alumni, other students who have graduated.
Not just national, but also it's global scale.
Having a community behind you is probably the greatest thing you can have, apart from your family and friends, because really it's just a bigger version of them.
A family that is now around the world.
We've all come together as one, and we're all going to be lifelong friends.
I just enjoy the moment.
Words can't describe it.
It lasts a few seconds, but you really will remember it forever.
The world is your oyster. You really don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. You don't know what it's going to be the next day, but take every single opportunity that comes your way.
Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations, graduates.
Welcome to our global alumni community.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to graduates and guests to this very special occasion. To comply with safety regulations, please allow me to take a few moments to point out the emergency exits in the Great Hall. Please take a moment to note your nearest green emergency exit sign. For those with small children, there's a soundproof crying room at the rear of the Great Hall. The ushers in the hall will be happy to assist with directions. A professional photographer will photograph each graduate as they cross the stage, and a copy of this photograph will be made available to all graduates to access and share via their Facebook page. Portrait photography will also be available at the graduate reception in the Brennan Room immediately following the ceremony. As a courtesy to everyone in the room, we ask that we switch any mobile devices to silent. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, we will instruct each graduate and your guests when it is time to leave your seats. Graduates, in May, you will be sent an invitation to complete the Graduate Outcomes Survey. This survey gathers feedback on your higher education experience to help improve the experience for future students. We strive to provide the best possible experience for all of our students, but this cannot be achieved without your important and valuable feedback. We would appreciate you watching for an email to your university account so that you can assist with this important survey. Some of the terminology used in today's ceremony may be unfamiliar to you. To assist in your appreciation of the ceremony, we have provided a history of graduation and an explanation of terms in the graduation booklet. The academic procession will enter the Great Hall in just a few moments. When the procession enters, could you please rise and remain standing as we sing the Australian National Anthem. At the conclusion of the ceremony, please rise when the Deas Party stands and remain upstanding until the Deas Party and our graduates have left the hall. We hope that you enjoy this very special occasion. Thank you.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gift of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this very special graduation ceremony. On behalf of the University of Newcastle, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Pambalong clan of the Awabakal people, on whose traditional land this campus is located, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and future. As the presiding officer of this ceremony and a graduate of some years ago, I am honoured to be able to celebrate this major milestone in your academic journey. Each of our university's graduates is unique, and each year, through these ceremonies, we celebrate their success. This year's graduates are indeed an inspiration. Before me sits a group of people whose determination and resilience is remarkable by any measure. We all know that the past 2 years have been unprecedented. The pandemic has had a profound impact on every person in this room, and the crisis came right on the heels of major natural disasters of floods and fires, which had already taken a toll on many of our students. This ceremony acknowledges your drive and determination to succeed. Graduates, today you take with you a degree from one of the finest institutions in the world. Newcastle is acknowledged for delivering excellence in education to some 39,000 students. Our degree programs are designed to prepare you for life and work after you graduate and connect you with your industries and communities. Similarly, our research is focused on delivering impact and innovation, with a steady focus on working with partners to support the development of our region. The university's focus on excellence in education and research sits hand in glove with a long-held commitment to equity. We offer the opportunity of education to students from all walks of life who have talent and determination. 1/4 of our students are from low socio-economic backgrounds, and we have the largest number of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students of any Australian university. We are proud of every student, and we are committed to providing the best learning environment and opportunities to help them realise their potential. Today's celebration of the completion of your study marks another important milestone: your entry into the University of Newcastle Global Alumni Community, and you are in very good company. One example is Dr. Scott Sleep, who graduated with a Bachelor of Education in 1996 and a Doctor of Philosophy Environmental Engineering in 2015. Scott leads a STEM course that saw a 20% increase in the number of students who were taking STEM subjects in the Hunter, at a time when the rest of the state saw a reduction. From its initial success, it has continued to grow from a little seed in the Hunter. The program is now reaching 30 different countries. You are now united with achievers like Scott and the people sitting around you as an alumni of this university. Our network of passionate and talented alumni stretches across the world, comprising 161,000 members in 152 countries. You now have access to this global alumni community, along with opportunities for ongoing learning, professional development and personal enrichment. We look forward to watching you flourish in your career. Look ahead with confidence, knowing you will always be part of the University of Newcastle. Today is the culmination of many years of hard work, and this ceremony is a symbol of all that you have experienced and achieved during your time here at the university. This includes an acknowledgement of the support of your family and friends who have been with you every step on the way on your journey to today. To family and friends, we sincerely thank you for the important role you've played in reaching this important milestone. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alex Zielinski, to introduce today's occasional speaker.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's wonderful to have everyone here, back at the university, back in the Great Hall. I know it's been a very difficult 2 years. Our numbers are a little bit down today because of people being sick and not being able to attend, but glad to have you all here. And we very much hope this is not the last time you come back to the university, but you're always welcome back here, particularly as alumni of the university. To your family and friends, welcome to the university as well. We really are pleased to have you here. This is a university of the community for the community. In fact, this Great Hall was built by the community, brick by brick, through donations. And one of the things with next community project we're looking to do is the alumni house in the city, and it'll be a house for the alumni. And again, it'll be a chance for the community and alumni to contribute, and a place to come and visit when you're here back at the university or visiting Newcastle. Presiding Officer, it's my pleasure to invite Professor Jennifer Milam to deliver today's occasional address. Jennifer joined the University of Newcastle in 2020 in the role of Pro Vice-Chancellor Academic Excellence. She completed her Bachelor of Arts in Art, History and Economics at Barnard College and Undergraduate College of Columbia University. With a desire to deepen her understanding of the cultural significance of art, she gained her Master of Arts and PhD in Art History from Princeton University in New Jersey. During her studies, she worked in curatorial and the conservation departments at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York and the J. Paul Getty Museum in California, two very prestigious institutions. Since arriving in Australia in 1996, Jennifer's made a very big contribution to research in higher education. She's held major positions including the Head of School at the University of Melbourne and Pro-Dean of Research and Associate Dean of Postgraduate Work at the University of Sydney. She's been a member of Australian Research Council's College of Experts and the Research Evaluation Committee, and brings a keen eye to identifying research excellence and national innovation opportunities for our university. Jennifer is also an elected member of the Council of the Australian Academy of Humanities and is part of the working group for a think tank called A New Approach, where she's championing effective ways to invest and give a return to Australian arts and culture. Jennifer is widely published, including 4 books covering women's histories, art history, garden history and 18th century studies to present new theories and vision of reception of the work of art. I'm delighted that Jennifer is able to join us on this very special occasion for our graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Jennifer Milam to deliver this afternoon's occasional address.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. When I told a friend that I would be giving this address, she asked, "What is there to say? Congratulations, now go have a good life." That would be a short address, perhaps what some of you would prefer, sitting there as you are in slightly uncomfortable seats. But that wouldn't quite fill up the 10 minutes that I've been asked to speak by the Vice-Chancellor. My friend's remarks got me thinking, what does it mean to live a good life? How much of a good life comes from the degrees that we hold and the careers that we pursue? And what part does a university education play in leading us down that path? To be clear, I don't mean a happy life. Happiness comes from sharing our lives with family, friends, and loved ones. Those people sitting with you here today who have supported you in a myriad of ways over the past several years. A good life is something else, not disconnected from happiness, but certainly not its source. My take on the good life is that it does not come from our degrees or our careers, but instead emerges from the risks that we take, the biggest of which may have actually been choosing to pursue degrees about thinking, learning, and teaching others in an affluent society that is very results-driven. But thank you for choosing that degree. In my own life, as you've heard, it was a PhD in art history, the most lampooned of all degrees, up there with philosophy. Nevertheless, I encourage you to embrace more risks, often and most importantly, when they conflict with what seems safe and comfortable. Because Australia is a safe and comfortable place where people lead safe and comfortable lives. And this is not a criticism. It's a great country in which to live and to study. My childhood took place in a very similar landscape to Newcastle. I grew up on the cliffs in Southern California, exploring tide pools on my own as a girl, scrambling down the bluffs with my surfboard in my teens, and my family rarely went on holidays because why would you leave? Paradise was across the street. It wasn't until I made my decision about which university to attend that I decided to risk leaving paradise, for if I had chosen Berkeley in California over Columbia in New York, I am certain I never would have left my home state to learn about the rich diversity of America and Americans. None of my high school friends who took that comfortable path have left Southern California, and they don't have a bad life. But I'm not sure it is as good as it can be when you live and work in other places. You can travel, yes, but it is not the same experience because you remain a tourist. Many of you have come from different parts of Australia or outside of Australia to study here with us. And that is an important step, where you meet a diversity of people from different backgrounds and different walks of life. But I hope it is not your last. My thinking on this is undoubtedly influenced by my heritage. Both sides of my family left Europe for America in the late 17th century. Somehow they survived Jamestown, but they didn't do anything useful for their heirs, like secure real estate. Instead, they kept moving further west, risking what little they had to find a good life, which involved adventure and exploration of the unknown. My great-great-uncle was the colonel who took settlers into San Antonio, Texas in the early 1830s, an adventure that eventuated in the Alamo. If he is less well known than Will Travis and Jim Bowie, it is because, in typical Milam fashion, stooping down to pick up spent bullets, he got his head shot off in the early stages of battle, before the last stand at the mission. Despite this bad ending, I reckon he had a good life. Another side of the family was in California by 1849. Original 49ers there for the gold rush. My great-great-grandfather led wagon trains from Missouri to California, but by the late 1870s, his family found California to be overpopulated, so they moved to Arizona. Like Ben Milam in Texas, it didn't end well. Most of the family was killed in the last Apache strike in U.S. history. My great-grandfather, who was only 4, survived by hiding under a bed. Kid Meadows, as my great-grandfather became known, was the top trick rider in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, before he became the first sheriff in Imperial Valley on the border of Mexico. This is where my grandmother was born in 1901 in a covered wagon, and it is where his brother, Arizona Charlie, another show name, performed with Buffalo Bill as a sharpshooter. But Arizona Charlie became bored and went to the Yukon to launch a floating casino. Again, in typical Milam fashion, it sank. But a casino in Las Vegas still bears his name. These men lived what I would call a good life. They took risks that led to adventures and amazing experiences. Unexplored was a word in the 19th century map west of the Mississippi that led my ancestors to move further across America. There is not much of the world left like that these days, so modern adventures need to be recast. They are less colorful, perhaps, but nonetheless lead to the unexplored world of the creative imagination, fostered through higher education, as I hope has been your experience with us here at the University of Newcastle. I sometimes wonder what Ben Milam, Arizona Charlie, and Kid Meadows would make of one of their women becoming a professor in Australia. I think they would applaud the Australia part, but I doubt the professor would have impressed them much. Doesn't sound like an adventure. My grandmother, Pearl, would have thought it won, though, as did my maternal grandmother, Mary, who died this year at the age of 102. As the first woman in our family to go to college, my grandmothers rightly instilled in me that education for girls is the most important adventure of all, one that they did not have the chance to explore. My initial risk that landed me for 10 years on the East Coast of the United States led to others. The decision to work on French painting rather than American art, a safe option that would have kept me in the US for my dissertation research. Instead, I moved to France for 2 years and experienced all over again the amazing differences and similarities that bind our civilizations across the world. I then, as the Vice Chancellor said, began working at the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles, a return to paradise that didn't quite seem like paradise anymore. It was all too familiar, too comfortable, too safe. So I encouraged my husband to take a job in Australia, a country I knew little to nothing about beyond the Men at Work song we used to blast in our cheerleader van on the way to football games. Australia, and teaching future generations of Australians, has been a great adventure, which I hope will not be my last. Some years ago, a free-spirited colleague of mine resigned from his university position at 50. He left academia, which was no longer an intellectual adventure to him, to buy a village in Croatia, as you do, and build a new good life. We stayed in touch, and I received an email from him some years later telling me that he had survived a brain tumor, and his wife had left both him and their teenage daughter. This is the contemporary equivalent of having your head shot off at the Alamo. Nevertheless, his message came with an attachment, a brilliantly raw piece of creative writing about life and relationships that has now been published. His response to a traumatic experience in his life that life brought on demonstrated to me how an education prepares us for the great adventure of life, how to turn negatives into positives, to give something back culturally and intellectually to the world in which we live. As humanities and education graduates, you have all the necessary tools to make a good life from the adventures that you will have, but you need to take risks to gain those experiences. Although the California of my youth no longer exists, I have been able to find a similar place for my family to live in the Hunter region. Now I find that our family considers holidays to be superfluous. Why go away with paradise out the back door? But I will push my children to leave paradise and take risks when they might otherwise enjoy comfort. I hope that their perspective on whatever career they choose to pursue will be similar to my own, which is best summed up by quoting a famous painter of the 18th century about whom I once wrote a book. When asked of his career as an artist, Fragonard responded, "I paint with my ass." To me, that encapsulates the spirit in which we should pursue our life and work, with humor and in search of the unexpected. Strive for excellence in all that you do. Fragonard was one of the greatest painters who ever lived, but don't take it all too seriously, because the good life, like a good work of art, can come out the other end when your world is turned upside down. Now, congratulations, and go have a good life.
Thank you, Professor Milam, and I'm sure we can all take away from that. Got to take some risks to have a good life, so enjoy and have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to a very important aspect of this ceremony. For this, I'm going to ask for all of our graduates to please stand. Okay. As presiding officer of this ceremony, I now officially confer awards to all of those candidates who have fulfilled the conditions for admission of that award. Please join me in applauding the wonderful achievements of our graduates. Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Professor John Fischetti, Pro-Vice Chancellor for the College of Human and Social Futures, to present today's graduates.
Presiding Officer, good afternoon, and welcome to our graduates, friends, family. We really hold a special place in our hearts to this generation of graduates. For all the endurance you've had in the last 2 years, you didn't sign up to finish your degree on Zoom. And certainly getting your practicum, internships, and thesis written was really a hardship, but you've endured and you have something to tell that next generation that Jennifer's just speaking of that'll be standing on your shoulders. Thanks for staying with your studies. It's a great accomplishment. Presiding Officer, I present to you the candidates who fulfilled the conditions for admission towards awards of this university. Doctor of Philosophy graduates have undertaken a program of independent supervised study for the equivalent of up to 4 years of full-time study. These graduates have produced significant and original research outcomes, culminating in a thesis which has been independently examined by external experts of international standing. Today, the university is proud to honor graduates who have satisfied the rigorous criteria for the award of Doctor of Philosophy. Presiding Officer, I present to you Samaya Ba Akla. Dr. Ba Akla's thesis is entitled Early Childhood National Education Frameworks and Teacher Beliefs About Creativity, a comparative study of Australia and Iran. Dr. Ba Akla. Neil Tucker. Dr. Tucker's thesis is entitled Educating for Humanity and the Holistic Principle, a paradigm for 21st century schooling and early childhood education, a gathering of voices. Dr. Tucker. Congratulations to these higher degree by research graduates. Presiding Officer, I now present graduates who have satisfied the requirements of a postgraduate award. Graduating with a Master of Education with Distinction, Jin Kong Jung. Christine Schilling. Daniela Torreson. Graduating with a Master of Education, Truck Yang Hu. Graduating with a Master of Leadership and Management in Education with Distinction, Bronwyn Jones. Graduating with a Master of Special and Inclusive Education with Distinction, Ifroza Anwar. Tan O. Kim Benson. Julian Shazakantis. Renee Decknan. Emily Fitzgerald. Angela Hall. Lisa Lippis. Lilith McCallum. Lindy McCallum. Samantha Moffett. Rebecca New. Lyndon O'Brien. Laura Pardo. Zoe Parsons. Madison Samuels. Matthew Small. Shanae Taran. Graduating with a Master of Special and Inclusive Education, William Kersey. Courtney Smith. Justin White. Graduating with a Master of Teaching with Distinction, Sean Cleary. Kate Harding. Rachel Millard. Bronwyn Thomas. Graduating with a Graduate Certificate in Special and Inclusive Support, Crystal Krowinski. Graduating with a Graduate Certificate in Transformational Leadership in Education, Lauren Walters. Presiding Officer, that concludes the presentation of postgraduate awards. It's now my pleasure to ask Dr. Greg Preston, Deputy Head of School of Education, to present those students who have completed their undergraduate programs.
Presiding Officer, I present graduating with a Bachelor of Biomedical Science Honours with Honours Class 1, Brittany McCarthy. Graduating with a Bachelor of Biomedical Science, Arthur Hondermark. Bryce Lacey. Graduating with a Bachelor of Education Secondary Honours with Honours Class 1, Kai Harrison. Grace Sedgman. Graduating with a Bachelor of Education Secondary with distinction, Joshua Barden. Graduating with a Bachelor of Education Secondary with distinction, Annabelle Bisley. Molly Clark. Elizabeth Crawford. Talia Dent. Georgia Gall. Kira Hayden. Isabella Jones. Jack Maslin. Isabella May. You win. Philip Merrick. Kelly O'Brien. Phoebe O'Loughlin. Mercedes Siradzin. Graduating with a Bachelor of Education Secondary, Kai Abrams. William Bertram. Amber Beverly. Alexander Bolus. Anthony Brown. Sage Cook. Taryn Cooper. Caitlin Daly. Monique Darcy. Bo Dalton. Kane Douch. Paul Galloway. Morgan Gannon. Dylan Gould. Taylor Grant. Abigail Groth. Rebecca Marquardt. Hannah Mackay. Samuel Newmarch. Paige Packwood. Osama Radford. Evan Rice. Connor Tamblin. Alistair Unai. Samantha Vella. Courtney Wakely. Alexandra Wilkes. Tasia Willits. Emily Woods. Graduating with a Bachelor of Medical Radiation Science Honours, Diagnostic Radiography, James Bola Singh. Graduating with a Bachelor of Occupational Therapy Honours, Belinda Sieb. Thomas Waterhouse. Graduating with a Bachelor of Physiotherapy Honours, Lauren Cameron. Samuel Foran. Graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Humanities Honours, Madison McLeod. Graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Science Honours, Chloe Laxar. Graduating with a Bachelor of Teaching Technology Honours, Eloise Callingham. Michael Jordan. Presiding Officer, that concludes the presentation of graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Preston. We'll now enjoy a musical interlude by Abby Yeo and Terence Kuhl performing Uni Years, which is an original composition by Abby. Terence is a graduate and Abby is a current student in our music program. Thank you, Abby and Terence, for that beautiful performance. I now invite Kelly O'Brien, who is graduating today with a Bachelor of Education, Secondary with Distinction, to speak on behalf of the graduates.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the council, staff of the university, families and friends of graduates, and most importantly, graduates. It is an honour, and I'm really short right now. It is an honour and privilege to stand before you all today, representing all graduates present and those who couldn't attend. As I look out over the peers, I can't help but think back to my first days at Newcastle Uni, aimlessly observing the sea of faces, all embarking on something exhilarating and frankly a little intimidating. I worked my way through lectures, tutorials, and coffee vendors by trial and error. I began to feel the magnitude and significance of the journey I had embarked on, a journey of crossroads, of new beginnings, of choices and chances to be explored and taken. As each semester began and we returned to the bustling and crammed lecture theatres, a revitalisation of energy would envelop my body and I would find myself with grand intentions of reorganising, focusing, and actually completing all readings for that semester. However, almost as if they were connected, my ambitious approach would fade as the lecture halls thinned and the closer car parks became more available, around week 6. I would settle into what became uni life mode of endless lectures, tutorials, and sleepless nights in front of my laptop. I feel today we are here again, at the beginning of yet another crossroads that is both laced with excitement of possibilities and nervous energy of what lay beyond now familiar walls of the Newcastle Uni. My university journey began on a whim, really. I was not the first in my family. In fact, I was the last of 4 to finish uni. I finished high school without gaining enough marks to go straight into uni and vowed it was not for me and never would be. Well, never say never. My partner had decided to give Open Foundation a go, and I sort of thought, well, why the hell not? And literally that's how I ended up standing here today, because I just went, I'll come along for the ride. And wow, what a ride it has been. The most valuable lesson I have learned from my time here was not knowledge imparted in a lecture or shared through tutorial instruction. Rather, the opportunities it has afforded me, the friendships I have formed, the self-discovery and personal growth I've undertaken have shown me that I am not defined by society's narrow delusion of value and success. We can choose how we measure success, and we can choose the path in which we walk it to achieve it, rather than blindly accepting and chasing a broken society's norms. This independence and criticality of thought is beyond all else the most important lesson university has taught me. Of course, graduates, we have not walked our paths alone or without help. There have been a plethora of support people and educators along the way that have ensured our success: lecturers, tutors, peers, family and friends. They have all provided us with the strength to stay the course and strive to achieve our goals. Personally, there's just a few people I wish to thank for their contribution to my successful completion. Without them, there is no way I'd be standing here today. First and foremost, my partner in life, Tony Gillespie. Not only does he believe in my ability to succeed more than I do, he was there to support me through every single assignment meltdown, sleepless night, group work rant, and graded success and celebration. He was and will always be my rock and my ever-begrudging #1 proofreader. Secondly, my beautiful sister, Margaret O'Brien, whose knowledge and resources are unprecedented, and for allowing myself and my entire course into her classroom to do an assignment when all others refused because of, the big C. Associate Professor Heather Sharp. It began with trolls, and from that moment, I knew her support would be the quirky and levelling kind that I could rest confidence in, whether it be across the globe or late at night, curled in the fetal position, during yet another moment of submission to failure. Dr. Claire Irvine, whose gentle nature and creative genius provided me with a feeling of genuine acceptance, that I was right where I was meant to be at that time, Dr. Irvine was the presence that made us feel at ease when all else felt chaotic. Dr. Christine Hatton, for absolutely blowing my mind with the endless possibilities and unimaginable importance of drama education in a young person's life. My wish is that every student is afforded the opportunity to realise this for themselves in their own way. Associate Professor Robert Parks, for having the foresight and open-mindedness to see my path was different and he made it okay. He gave me the gift of allowing me to walk this university path in my own way. And to my uni girls, Riley, Georgia, Kat and Caitlin, for always having my back and allowing this old girl to feel valued in a young person's world. Now, as graduate teachers, we enter into an industry that is bruised, an industry that has suffered and continues to suffer great trauma. We can now choose to perpetuate society's existing ideal of education, or we can choose to create an educational experience for our students beyond these constraints. My experience over the past 6 years has impressed upon me an awareness that we can make a difference. We are more and we have more than I ever thought possible. Congratulations, graduates. I wish you all the very best in your futures, wherever your paths may lead.
Thank you, Kelly. It was quite an inspirational speech for your cohort of graduates. I hope you've enjoyed today's ceremony and thank you for joining the university community in the celebration of the awarding of degrees. Before I declare the ceremony concluded, I ask graduates, can you please remain seated and ask for everyone else to stand and join me in applauding the wonderful achievement of our graduates. I now declare the ceremony concluded. Please join us now for the graduate reception in the Brennan Room to continue in celebrating this special event together. So graduates, go out and celebrate and do good things.